Don Global presents
the DG Recruit podcast on everything headhunting and recruitment. Achieve the life and career you envision. What's up, game changers? It's your host, Don, founder of Don Global, the headhunting and career coaching company helping you achieve the life and career you envision.
In today's podcast, I want to talk about a topic that is very much trending, which is mental health in recruitment, especially in markets that are not doing well. This is where the problems start. Obviously, in really good markets, the market is so busy, you have so much work to do that you don't have time to really dwell on anything. But when the market isn't as good and when things aren't going as well, obviously it's no surprise, and I wouldn't blame you at all. After all, it is human to feel a little bit demotivated, a little bit concerned, a little bit down. And it's no coincidence that recently I've been talking to so many recruiters who are working at recruiting agencies, but they're, for whatever reason, not feeling motivated, not feeling successful. They think that the solution is leaving agencies. But then when we talk deeply about what they're going through, what they're experiencing at their firm, what comp plan they're on, what they're looking at internally, it doesn't really make sense for them to leave. Leaving isn't the solution either. And obviously, whether you are a self-employed recruiter or you work for somebody else, the reality is this game is all about staying in the game, being productive, being a producer, producing revenue. So in order to produce revenue, in order to stay on the game, we have to take care of our mental health, because there really isn't much else that we need to do. It's not like going to work as a waitress like I did for many years, where you just show up to work. It doesn't matter what mental health mood you're in. You just have to serve the food. That's different. In recruiting, it is self-motivated. You can make the call. You can also not make a call. You can sit and do a deal. You can avoid not doing a deal. So it's a lot more of a mind game than I think most other jobs that are more reactive. So let's talk a little bit about the 6 tips that I have for you on how to maintain your mental health in recruitment and what to do to stay sane and continue growing in this line of work. The first thing I want to say is competition is the thief of happiness. Now, my best friend was somebody who told me about this phrase in 2016 when I became an entrepreneur. And at the time, I was so lost, so confused, because I no longer had a toxic sales environment that was managing my every single move. I was so used to that environment for 5 long years that being left to my own devices was odd, was weird. I didn't enjoy it. And obviously, with the pandemic and with the after effects of the pandemic, there still is a lot of self-management that most people have to do. And if you're a solopreneur, if you are self-employed, you will understand this more than anybody else, is that competition is the thief of happiness. If you want to drive yourself crazy, all you have to do is look at other successful people, whether in your recruitment team, whether in other recruitment firms, whether on the internet, or whether just random celebrities and successful business people. You will feel that you are not enough. You will feel that you don't have enough going on, that whatever you have isn't actually great. And this is a big problem. I fall into this trap quite a bit, where I always think, well, I'm nothing. Well, I'm not that important. Well, whatever. Where actually my accomplishments are pretty damn good. And I just still have not really adjusted my mindset to fully accept, how far I've come, right? So I think a lot of recruiters, no matter how many years you have in this business, you are only human. You're going to doubt yourself, because every single year we are starting over. If you're a perm recruiter like me, every single year your deals are not going to do themselves. You're going to have to do them. So we have to focus on our own game instead of looking over at the other lane and seeing what else they're doing. Because I'm hearing a lot of this talk. Oh, I'm using ChatGPT. Well, I'm using social media. Well, I'm creating this and that. Well, I'm doing this and that. That all sounds great. At the end of the day, you only have X amount of hours that you're willing to work. And your business model and your market may be different than what other people are going through. So you can't really compete with other people when your business is running on a totally different system, iOS, right? Operating system. So we are constantly taught to compete externally. This comes from being young, and that is how society raised us, which is you got to be good compared to other people, got to be number one. At least in my generation, that was very popular parenting approach. And when you're constantly competing externally, it's actually not that ideal in recruiting because it limits how far you can actually go. You can only be as good as the person right next to you if you're constantly comparing externally. Instead, focus on yourself. Focus on your own needs, focus on your own wants, and that will actually be better for you to keep focused and not be distracted constantly by how not great you are, how inadequate you are compared to your own self-imagined competitors. Number 2 is understand that others don't have it as good as you think. Again, in social media, in the world that we live in now, you look over, oh my God, XYZ bought a big ass house. Joe Schmo married a really good looking person. XYZ person now has a thriving recruiting business with 30 people working for them. Their life must be simple, must be easy, must be perfect. And you can bet your ass and you can bet your bottom dollar then that is not true. That they also have their own issues and you have your own issues and they do too. Nobody has it as good as you think they do, no matter what they put onto the internet. So do not be fooled. Do not be jealous of other people and understand that they're also just trying to get by. Because I can tell you definitively that there are many recruiters out there that are not doing well right now. The market is slow. That's the case with our desk too. It's slow because the companies are being more strict. You have to find a really amazing candidate in the perfect situation who will move and is good enough so that you can make your fee. So you just have to be a little bit patient and understand that everyone is facing a very similar challenge. Not a single person is sitting there being like, I don't know what you're talking about. The recs keep rolling in. I have 50 recs. That's not true. And if they're telling you that, then wonderful. They've done a great job of marketing and maybe they are that wonderful that their desk has 50 recs. And that's fine. Again, it has nothing to do with you because that's not your desk. That's not your firm. That's not where you work, right? So at the end of the day, it does not matter what other people are up to and how good they have it. It has nothing to do with you. Number 3, the tip that I have to maintain your mental health in recruitment is focus on the small wins. I mean this as in don't focus on your yearly goals. I realize that when you're focusing on yearly goals, sometimes the goalpost seems too far away and that vision is almost too big to comprehend, too big to realize, to actualize. So what's easier is actually focusing on the small daily to-dos. What are the small building blocks that you need to get to a higher level, to get to the production level that you want to be at that next level of producer. So you got to focus on the small actions per day and don't get distracted with the negativity. Try to enjoy the daily small wins, right? What are the small things that you found great? Wow, I booked a call with a candidate I liked. Wow, a client responded to an MPC. Wow, we have another call booked for discussing repeat business. Yay, I'm pushing my rates negotiation up. I'm renegotiating my contract. Whatever it is, find the joy in the small things you're doing every single day to work on your business, work on yourself. Number 4 is to create and organize a solid plan. Now, this hinges upon your productivity system, your day planning, your system. How are you operating your day? What are you doing to keep yourself on task? And how is that translating into activity? So this is where day plans, again, for most recruiters, is what we use. Back in the day, I used to religiously use my day plan, and it just always kept me busy. So I never had time to distract myself or to look at Instagram, scroll through all of these websites. And so it really is about mental health in terms of self-control, self-discipline, controlling your behavior. Because unfortunately, there's this issue where we want to do something. Maybe it's to post on LinkedIn and watch responses and to constantly click and see what responses we have. Whereas that actually doesn't move your business forward. This is a problem that I have a lot. Obviously, I post a lot and I always want to get the gratification of seeing how well did the post do? What do people think of my post? What are people's thoughts? Who is messaging me? Right? All of these curiosities are actually a disturbance. It makes me stray further and further away from the goals I'm trying to achieve. So creating and sticking to a solid day plan is really still important. It's something that I'm not the best at lately because I've been so distracted with my myriad of activities to work on. And also, since I'm self-employed, I no longer have the same pressure I used to have, ironically, when I worked for someone else. So especially if you're self-employed, this is even more important to manage yourself. Number 5, choose to sacrifice. So this is again related to that point. The reason why we don't want to stick to our day plan, the reason why we don't even want to plan our day is that we want to enjoy our day. And enjoying our day usually means doing something enjoyable, like going out to eat, like watching a show, like going for a walk, like talking to friends. So we are making this choice to delay the hard thing that we need to do, like eat well, go and work out, go and work, go and make some calls. The hard stuff in life is what gets us ahead. But we're so eager to avoid pain, enjoy fun, enjoy the dopamine hits that we are not sacrificing enough. So this is an issue that I've realized I've fallen into as I've gotten more and more complacent. And I used to laugh at people who are complacent, laughing at them being like, they are so privileged. Well, now I'm in that same boat where I am complacent and privileged. I've earned the money that I've earned. I've become successful. I don't really have to work as much as I used to. So now it's like, holy shit, if I want to get from here to there, if I want to keep going, I have to go back to that energy that I had starting out. When I was starting out recruiting, trust, I was not taking any breaks. I wasn't focusing on my mental health. I was just freaking busting my ass every minute of the day to make it happen. And many, many days I reminisce on those days and I think, wow, being poor was really awesome. It really brought out the best of me because now that I'm comfortable and shit is good and I'm in a dual income household, life is good. What am I going to really have to push myself to do? Right? Well, that's why we have to put ourselves in a situation to continuously sacrifice the pain for the gain, right? Like I could work harder or I could just sit and watch TV. It wouldn't make a difference in my quality of life. But the problem is it's not about the quality of life. It's about achievement itself, right? Like, yes, if I do an extra deal, it doesn't mean I drive a nicer car or eat better. Regardless, I eat well and I have a nice car. It's not those extra things that I need to do that will make my life better. It's the achievement and the accomplishment and the self-worth that I'm lacking. That is what I'm striving for, right? That's why I'm still working. That's why I'm still making podcasts. It's not because I have to. It's because I want to. Why not? It's my purpose, right? So when you have a purpose, you need to sacrifice for that purpose, or else how purposeful is your purpose? If my goal is to help recruiters and be there to help and support other people, and I'm just sitting home watching TV all day, I mean, how helpful is that? How serious am I about my purpose? Not really. So I have to sacrifice my comfort, my creature comforts, my daily comforts, my day-to-day time wasters, and I have to focus on doing the things that make me feel like I'm creating a meaningful impact. And so creating those day plans, focusing on small wins, everything we talked about so far is to get yourself in a mindset where you are happily sacrificing your time, trading your time for your intended result that is aligned with your purpose. That is the whole point. That is why I'm doing all of this work, because I actually care. Right? And caring is a very powerful thing. So going back to that purpose, why am I doing the things I do? And why am I willing to sacrifice and hold myself accountable to those sacrifices? So if you're in a situation where you need to bill, well, why do you need to bill? why is it so important that you have a successful year? I want to help more people. I want to help more clients. More importantly, I want to create an abundant lifestyle for myself and my family and set myself up nicely in the years that I have the energy and want and capability and mental capacity to do so. Okay, so we need to make some sacrifices. We need to work harder. We need to take some risks. We need to make more calls. We have to be more daring. We have to experiment more with all the different tools and opportunities we have as recruiters. Lastly, the last tip I have here is execute without distraction. This is tying in everything we just talked about. It really is about resilience at the end of the day, is that I cannot just say I have these goals and feel good in my dreams, because I've done this a long time. I felt this way for a very long time. Every single day, I have to pull myself out of this place of complacency where I no longer have to hustle for the next dollar and say, why am I going to work today? Why am I going to execute on the things that I want and said are meaningful to me? So I have to deliver. I can't just say these things without pressuring myself to actually finish the work, do the work, right? So right now I have this goddamn book I'm trying to write, and I have to force myself to execute without distraction, because the minute you have distraction, you can't execute. They're like inherently mismatched. They're at odds with each other. So if you want to execute, you can't be distracted, and you have to sit there and do it and execute, right? So whatever it is for you, this is a sacrifice that we have to make if you want to get from point A to point B. So instead of being bitter that, wow, it's beautiful out, in New York, it's getting really nice. Today's like 80s degrees. And I'm like, well, I've got to go and finish this podcast before I can go out for a walk with the dog, right? I have to execute without distraction, because there are certain things that I need to accomplish in a day to feel that the day was not wasted. So it is about resilience and persevering to execute on your goals that you wanted to do, and taking advantage of the time that you have to accomplish that. At the end of the day, again, as always, it's about focus. It's about staying on track, which I struggle just as much as the next guy. Everybody goes through the same problems. Nobody should be out here acting like they never struggle with procrastination or complacency or mental health issues or lack of motivation or mental just pain, right? Come on, let's be real. We're all human. We all have these same human experiences. We're just all at different parts of our lives. Sometimes you're on an up and up. Sometimes you have a bit of a bump. Sometimes there's some stuff going on. But as long as we carry on and stay resilient and stick with the plan, because that is one thing I'll tell you, that is one thing that I have above all else. Yes, I can get off track. Yes, I can get distracted. Yes, I can get lazy and complacent, but I will never give up. That's one thing I can promise you I will never do, is I'm never going to give up. I'm a fighter, and that is part of my identity. So again, hold on to that part of you, hold on to that side of you, and just keep executing, keep moving forward one step at a time. As small as they are, they will take you slowly to where you need to go. Again, just selling the dream of well, just do this and everything's going to be perfect. Not true. It's a daily fight. It's a daily mindset adjustment that you have to do in order to keep yourself focused, because even if you have a micromanaging boss, you still need to manage yourself as well. And most people these days don't have a micromanaging boss. So you really have to step in and help yourself manage your mental health, your focus, your concentration. I hope this podcast was helpful to you. As always, please direct me any questions you have, any comments you have. And if you have the time, please do drop me a review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. I appreciate it so much. Till next time.